Just be blessed.
Hi, I'm Trinidad Flores, the founder of Compassion Hats here in Medford, Oregon. We make hats for the NICU, the birthing center at Rogue Regional Hospital. How we started is it became a therapy for me to stay out of my head and think more about what I'm doing than my own problems. Problems like growing up in a split home, living with my dad. It was great. And also hard dealing with stepmom, other siblings, not my own mom. Spent the first 15 years of my life living in California, going back to Michigan to see my mom, and every summer during different holidays. Maybe one Christmas would be with my dad, the next would be with my mom. Just bouncing around. Or bouncing around would wear on anyone, especially as a child. But I made it through it. Moved back to Michigan with my mom. Stayed there, finished up high school, struggled through high school. Hated it. Extremely hated high school. We fought day in and day out about schoolwork, applying myself in school. We tried different avenues. My mom thought maybe counseling would help out. While it helped some, we still struggled with it quite a bit. Growing up, I always had ideas that there's something more to myself. It's mental health wise. I'm not a professional about it. I don't know a whole lot, but I do know that there really wasn't any kind of normalcy in my life. I struggled with my own thoughts. I always looked at myself as I'm no good. I'm not going to be able to do in anything that I set my mind to. I would never achieve what my goals were. I never really had a clear idea of exactly who I was, what my goal in life was. Struggled. My mom and I, through counseling, were able to work through a lot of different areas and how I see myself, how I conducted myself growing up. We struggled with it like everyone else does. But we stayed with it. Like many kids, tried smoking at a young age. Didn't like it. Didn't like the taste. Didn't like how it made me feel. Dizzy in the head. dabbled with drinking here and there. A lot of things that people do, kids do in high school. Now, I was more of a loner in school. Sports kept me at least in school. It helped keep me motivated to try and do my best. Although I did have some friends, a lot of times I preferred being by myself, not doing what everyone else was doing. That could have been part of what was going on mentally, thinking that I was no good, wasn't wasn't giving myself the time to go and meet other people, spend time with other people. There was always just me doing whatever. I would go out fishing by myself. I would go swimming by myself. Just a lot of different things by myself. And if it wasn't with family, I always tried fitting in, kind of like forcing a puzzle piece into a spot where it doesn't belong. Try and fit in with the football team, baseball team, whatever I did. And ended up in trouble with the law. Did time in prison. Age 21, I was out drinking with some friends. I was the oldest one at the time. And they decided that they wanted more beer after everything had closed. So they broke into a party store, brought everything back to my truck. And because of being the oldest, the judge and the prosecuting attorney chose to make me an example for everyone else. They didn't go with the underage, but they pinned me for the break-in. Ended up doing 18 months in prison. During that time, I was attacked by one of the Muslims, and they're basically because of my faith in God. And I believe that's where a lot of the PTSD that I suffer from comes from. I'm not positive about it all, but I can almost guarantee that that's where it's at. And along with it, the depression started surfacing. Once I was discharged from prison, or released from prison on parole, I did roughly another 18 months on parole, and finally discharged. Met my now ex-wife. We had suffered a stillborn loss at 20 weeks. Fast forward a year from the day that we found out about the first child that we lost, and we found out about our current son. But I believe during that time it was a way for God to prepare me for another time in my life where I would be doing something for the parents that have lost a child. For me, knitting has become more of a therapy to keep me out of my mind, keep me from thinking about myself. A therapist through a crisis unit had encouraged me to keep going with the knitting that I do. I learned from an ex-girlfriend who was just dabbling with it. She really didn't do much of anything with it. It was more of just a hobby. But for me, it's literally been my saving grace from the depression. I really picked up with it when my depression took a tumble. I was literally inches away from killing myself, and it's kept me from thinking about my own problems. To date, I want to say I'm pretty close to 2,100 hats, thereabouts. And that's been since I started knitting, which has been about 3 years now. With the hats that I make, I needed an outlet to give them away. Initially, it was for family and friends. I made several for my son, but I started making hats more for the community. First, I would give them out to the homeless for the winter warmth. Now, 10 years later from that day, through Compassion Hats, the organization / ministry that I've have founded, we are doing blankets for the stillborns, helping the parents to understand that it's natural. We do lose our children. We do lose babies that we're looking forward to having, but we don't have to do it alone. Compassion Hats, we also make hats for the birthing center, the NICU, WIC, and all the hats that we make are donated. For me, this is a therapy to help with the depression, PTSD. Helps keep me out of my mind, thinking about my own problems and how we can make a difference in someone else's life, one hat at a time, or one blanket at a time. And we still do hats for the homeless and as needed. My goal is, with the 3 hospitals that we have here in Jackson County, is to build and supply hats and blankets for the stillborns to all 3 of them. And I know I can't do it alone. And this is where our community comes in hand. All the churches, whether they go to church or don't, everyone has a chance. It takes a community to help a community, bless a community. You can be a blessing to the community. We teach classes. We teach how to loom knit, not just hats, but we also do classes on how to make the flat panels for blankets. We can help with getting the supplies that you need. We can help with anything along the lines with the knitting. And this is where everyone comes in. We can help you as you help us, and by helping us, you're also helping the community, our local babies. Compassion Hats has started with hats. We'll always do hats. We've added blankets to the hats, and at least with myself, I am certified through the National Center on the Shaken Baby Syndrome to do classes on the term the periods of purple crying, to help parents understand that the crying that a baby does is a natural process, and all babies go through this. No baby deserves to be shaken. Throughout this whole process with Compassion Hats, I've been blessed, and this is something I would like you to be blessed with. We need help with compassion hats, and you can be a blessing to others. And as I've been blessed with doing this whole process of starting compassion hats, how you can help is we always need other people to help make hats. It doesn't matter if it's crocheted, hand knit, needle knit, loom knit, but we need hats. We could also use donations to help get supplies. You can get a hold of us on Facebook through facebook.com/Compassion Hats Medford, or if you're doing it on the Android or Apple app, you go under pages when you put in Compassion Hats, black and pink logo, so it really stands out. There's many different opportunities that we have that you can help with. With your help, you can help turn ripples of compassion into waves of compassion. Thank you for your consideration in helping Compassion Hats achieve this goal of becoming waves of compassion.
All right, final thoughts. 1, 2. How's your audio thing? Is running?
Yeah, it should be.
Should be. You haven't. Okay, let's find out. It's red and it's running. So let's put that